And now we're going to be talking with Meg Herman. So much to learn about home inspections and lots of information. So let's start with, what can someone expect today?
So great segue. Most of the time when we're talking about home inspections, we're talking about this process of the insurance company reviewing your home as a risk that they're going to include in their portfolio. Expectations are interesting. Most of the time the inspection is performed by an outside company. So your insurance company will contract with an independent company that does inspections, and they are taking this really seriously right now. You know, in our market right now, we have a consolidated group of insurance companies willing to take the risk, and the guidelines are changing, and these inspectors are serious. So my number one thing to tell people is A, expect their call, B, take the call and get it set up right away, because time's of the essence, and I have seen people sort of put the inspection off, and then we have a real struggle to get it done on time and to keep the policy in force.
I was sharing with you, we had this process happen to us recently, and it was going to be several weeks before the first person could come, and that just wasn't going to work.
Right, I know, and people think like, oh, this isn't a big deal, but every insurance company, especially when it's a new policy, has the right to inspect the home. And then also, if your renewal, insurance companies that are already on the risk, they also have the right to inspect the home. And they're going to come back with sort of a laundry list of things potentially that you might need to do or to cure in order to keep the policy in force.
Can you share a little bit about what are some of the main points that they're going to look for when they come in the home?
Right, they're looking at the roof, big time. You know, so newer roofs are great, but sometimes there are things about your roof you probably don't even realize. But the inspector's definitely going to be looking at the roof. If they come inside, they're looking at plumbing, water heaters. On the exterior of the house, they're looking for, you know, the fencing around a pool, which sometimes we don't have here. Or they are looking for sidewalks that might not be quite straight, or driveways that have a crack, railings that are loose. You can kind of come up with a list of things.
So they're looking for risk factors, though, of course.
Right. Is your house, does it meet this, you know, the risk profile that the company's looking for? Trees are a big deal as well, especially, you know, on Hilton Head, some of our communities. We've always protected our trees. It's part of what makes, you know, Sea Pines or Moss Creek, you know, that makes those communities special. So a lot of times we see an insurance inspection that's looking for trees to be trimmed back or maybe even removed.
As we saw some years ago when we had the hurricane, the trees were the biggest issue that affected the homes.
Right, yeah. So when the wind blows here, trees are a big deal, trees that are overhanging the house. So I always the key thing is just to know that the home is likely to be inspected, you know, for sure when the policy is put in force, but even when it's renewing, and then just make sure to take it seriously, right? And then the insurance company is going to come back to you if they need something to quote unquote like be cured.
Yes.
And they're going to give you an amount of time that you have to get that done. So take that seriously too, because that's a condition of the insurance.
Right. Do you find anyone's faced with a problem where maybe they can't get insurance, maybe their home's not quite insurable? What do you suggest? Any suggestions that you might give out?
Yeah, that's a great point. You know, we talked briefly about the hard market and this consolidated group of insurance companies that are here willing to take the risk. I try to have that conversation before, if I know we've got a roof that is around the 20-year mark, you know, that's a time frame where carriers really get skittish about the age of the roof. So if there are roof concerns, or you know, if we can just look at the house together, I try and stay ahead of that. Generally, we can find a carrier, but it may not be the coverage that you want or makes you feel comfortable, right? If you've got an older roof and we can't find coverage for your roof, you know, you may have the roof excluded, or the roof could be covered at, you know, on a depreciated scale, which is always not palatable. As we quickly wrap up, where do you see the trend going? Yeah, so this isn't, like, we have like 30 seconds left. We have an industry cycle that's called a hard market. It's a normal industry cycle. They generally take about 3 years. You know, I don't have a crystal ball, and this seems to be really an exceptional cycle. But we're starting to see glimmers of hope, right? So over the course of the next year, we're going to start to have a better understanding of what's going to happen and so hopefully the shift to a softer market or a market where there's more capacity.
Yeah.
So we'll be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, I think we're all looking forward to that too. So thank you for sharing with us. Very important information for us to know.
Good to be with you, Lisa. Thank you.